When you are very young, there are certain things that you don't understand. So you easily follow what many people are doing. So many years ago, when I was a little boy in my village, I thought that when you want to have the best of things in life, it is usually outside your village that you will see those things. I even admire the people that lived in other communities, and especially those who lived in cities, because all the stories that we heard was that we were in a small town or a village, and the better things in life can only be found in other parts of the country. And because of that, we grew thinking that whatever we had was not the best. Later on, we moved from the community and then went to experimental junior secondary school in the city, and I had opportunity to visit some of these communities which hitherto had been portrayed to us as the best. And over there, I saw certain things, I saw certain practices that were of cultural shock to me. I may not be able to mention all of them here, but as I grew, I appreciated certain traditions and cultural practices, like the way we were taught to speak and then greet elders, to show an appreciation for someone who has done something for you, the importance of saying thank you, the importance of greeting, and all those things. I really appreciated them. During our time, we're told that when you sit in the bus and then an elderly person comes, you've got to get up for the person to sit. Or maybe the person may not be elderly, but she's a breastfeeding mother, or maybe a woman with a baby. You've got to get up and give her your seat as a little boy or little girl. I remember even the way we used to greet the guys or the men or the boys were greeting this way, and then the women or the girls were also greeting this way, where they will, clasp your hand like this, put it at the lower portion of their waist, and go down and greet. These days, I don't know whether it is still there. Today, I want us to look at something: the need or the importance of us appreciating the beauty of wherever you come from. There were times that you met someone and asked where he or she comes from. The person would mention maybe the bigger city or the bigger community close to the village where he or she comes from. But we found out that it is not necessary to hide where you come from, because it is for a good reason that you come from that place. You were born at a particular place, and therefore you need to be proud of. People migrated from Africa and went to live in other countries, America, Europe, Australia, and other places. Some identify themselves as Africans coming from a particular country. Others also, I'm told, sometimes refuse to let even people know where they come from. Of course, people do whatever they do for various reasons. Maybe the person might not be having the necessary papers or whatever. But whatever it is, don't be shy to mention where you come from. Because irrespective of how backward, in quotes, you think your community is, there is some level of development that another person or another community do not have. I'm sure it will surprise you to know that even the various cities in the big advanced countries that we mentioned of, even there are people who are homeless. But look back to where you come from, Africa. How many people can you classify as homeless? Those living in typical traditional African communities, how many homeless people can you identify? Our communal way of living, such that even if at a point in time someone is not working, a relative who lives in the same house will be ready to provide food and sometimes accommodation for that person, rather than the person going to sleep outside for him or her to be classified as a homeless person. We should look at the resources around us. Beautiful mountains, the sea, the vegetation, the forest cover. We have all these beautiful things around us. And sometimes we may think it is nothing. I remember many years ago when postcards was being used as a correspondence piece of paper. It was these natural, resources around that people took pictures of and developed into postcards, and they were selling them. Even sometimes the way the sun shines, people will take pictures of them and then use it for cards, and then they will sell them. And until you appreciate whatever you've been given, you will not be able to move forward, because we are surrounded by so many opportunities, but sometimes we overlook them and rather think about other places where some of them may not even have those opportunities. There are some countries in Europe that may not have a lot of natural resources, but they're able to put things together to create situations, to create events that will invite a lot of people, and people come and watch and they make money out of it. What are we doing, Africa? There are so many things that we can use to generate money, and I think we've got to be serious with our tourism so that we'll be able to, do more to be able to raise money from tourism. I think the East African countries are far ahead when it comes to tourism. And I know in West Africa, Gambia is also doing well. Ghana, a few countries are also trying. But I think there are a lot of things that we'll be able to do to put in place the necessary infrastructure and the events that will encourage a lot of people to visit our countries, so that we can also generate enough money from tourism. There are beautiful people around us. Cultures differ. But when it comes to my country, Ghana, when you meet somebody on the street, whether you know the person or not, you can greet that person and go your way. You wake up in the morning, you meet people within the same house, you greet them and find out how they are doing. In actual fact, when you go to our typical, Ghanaian communities, you can realize that a neighbor may not have seen you for a day or two. He or she will pass by and probably ask from the people that you live with, or sometimes knock at your door if you live alone, and try to find out whether you are doing fine. The latter generation may not have seen this culture much, but yet some people practice this kind of culture to show that they care. We know that because of the economic situation and that thing, people have become very individualistic. But that typical African culture where we check on people is also there, just to find out how people are doing. You have your classmates around, you have your playmates around. When you go to your work and you come, whether you go to farm, whether you go and teach, whether you go and trade, when you come, sometimes you meet these people, sit on the trees, you chat, you laugh, you feel cool. And go and check. Most of those people do not have high blood pressure. Sometimes you may think that those people have nothing to do. But as they sit under the trees, sometimes they do this communal eating where they go and buy kinky, they will eat together, they will be joking. And of course, these things are done after they have closed from their farms or maybe wherever they are working. But hey, they maintain a very, 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 very healthy lifestyle. Until a few years back, ailments like cancer and high blood pressure was not common. These days, because of the way we eat and the fact that a lot of the food that we eat these days are not organic, a lot of people are having issues. And sometimes our sedentary lifestyle, where people sit at one place to work for a very long time without exercising, also has brought about a lot of health challenges. But like I was saying, there is something good from where you come from. For that reason, even if you become metropolitan in lifestyle because of the fact that you have migrated and gone to live in the city, do not throw away the way you used to eat when you were in the village. Even if you will not be able to follow it strictly, remember that at least once, twice, or thrice a week, you'll eat like the way you used to do when you were in the village, because that is what will keep you in good shape. That is what will keep you in good health, and then will make you live long. Do not neglect where you come from. Do not look down on your birthplace. Do not forget about your playmates you began life with, or your classmates. Yes, you may not be able to connect with all of them, but definitely, from time to time, you have to check on few that you'll be able to connect with. Be proud that you are an African. Be proud of your cultural heritage, and be proud that you are Black. My name is Ato Brentishan. Before you go, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. This is Prime Testimony Channel. See you in the next video.